Good day. So today we are looking at tangents to a circle. Now, what you need to understand here, we've got a circle here, and we have a line that cross which pass the circle. We call that a secant. Then we have our radius, and the radius, it has to be the line that comes from the center to the circumference. Then a tangent is a line that touches once your circle. So if this one, it touches once circle. So it only touches once. And the good thing about this thing is that the tangent and the radius, they are perpendicular. So if they are perpendicular, it means that the gradient, which is m radius times gradient of tangent, should give us -1. Okay, should give us -1. So that's what we use. So that's the relationship that you need to know. So a gradient of the tangent, if you multiply with the gradient of the radius, it gives you -1. So now the other thing again that that you need to understand is that for you to get the gradient of the tangent, you need to get the gradient of the radius first. So once you have the gradient of the radius, then you are good to go. So, and you have to also know how to find equation of a straight line, because tangent is a straight line. It's a straight line. So you need to be able to know y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. So that's the formula that you use to calculate the equation of the tangent. And if we are to have m here, m is your gradient. Then y1, x1, and y1 are your coordinates. So in this case here, it will be point of intersection. Point of intersection. Where these two are meeting, that's where we are saying this is the point that what we're dealing with. So this is the point that you use, point of intersection. And this point of intersection is the one that you use to find what? That's your x1 and y1. Okay, that's what you need to understand here. Okay, now let's move on and try to solve some questions. Determine equation of the tangent which touches the circle. This is the circle at the point -2 and -1. So what do we need to do here? From the past lecture, we know that we're supposed to do complete the square here to find the coordinate of the center first. So we need to have coordinate of the center first before we do anything. So here, what are we going to do? We're going to complete the square here, minus 2x plus 2 over 1 over 2, sorry. We square that, minus 2 over 2, we square that, then plus y squared plus 4y plus 4 over 2, we square that, minus 4 over 2, we square that, minus 5 is equal to 0. So what we are doing here, we have got a perfect square here, and you also have a perfect square here. So the perfect square here is going to be x minus, we take the sign here, minus 2 divided by 2, we get 1. So minus 1 squared, then plus, we get another perfect square here, y plus, what is the 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2 squared. Then we are going to take the -1 here and -2. We are going to take it, and also -5. We're going to shift them to another side. Then it's going to be 5, because it's going to be positive here, plus 2 plus 1. What do we get? 5 plus 2 plus 1 is going to be 8. So we have an equation of y minus x minus 1 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to 8. Okay, so that's what we have there. Now, so what is the center? We need to have a center. So the center coordinates is going to be 1, remember the opposite sign, and -2. Okay, that's what we have. So now we want to find the gradient now. We want to find the, because since we have got x1 and y1, this is our x1 and y1. That's the one that we use in our equation. Now, what are we going to do now? We're going to find the gradient between the center and this point here on the circumference. So we need to find the gradient. M is equals to your y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is going to be, we're going to use this one as our first point. We're going to say negative 1 negative 1 minus what we have here, minus is going to be minus 2 over negative 2 minus 1. So always remember, when you start with a coordinate, certain coordinate, you must start with it like you for both x and y. So here you start with the negative 1 for y. We also must start with negative 2 for x, so that you don't interchange them. Okay. Now, what do we get there? We get our gradient as what? As negative 1 plus 2, we get 1. Then negative 2, negative 1, we get negative 3. So it's going to be negative 3. So it's going to be negative 1 over 3. So this is the gradient of the what is it, of the radius. So this one is m rad. Now, what do we do now? We're going to say m radius times m tangent. It must give us negative 1. Then what is our m radius? Is 1 or negative 1 over 3 times m10 is equals to negative 1. Then what do we do now? We divide both sides by negative 1 over 3. Then if we are dividing by both sides by negative 1 over 3, we're going to get negative, we're going to get 3, negative 1 here. We're going to say in bracket, divided by what? Negative 1 over 3. We put it as it is. Then we get 3. So m tangent, the gradient of a tangent should be equal to 3. Now we have the gradient of the tangent. What do we have also? We have the coordinate that we are going to use. So we're going to use the equation y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. Then our y1 and x1 are negative 2 and 3. So we use negative 2 and negative 1, sorry, not 3. Then we're going to say y minus what we have, minus 1 is equals to m, what is m3? What is our x? X minus x1, negative 2, okay? Like that. So what do we get here? It's going to be y is going to be equals to 3 times x is going to be 3x. Then here we're going to get positive here. It's going to be 3 times 2. We're going to get 6 plus 6. Okay. Then here our negative 1 here. We're going to get positive 1. Then it's going to be negative 1 that side. It's going to be minus 1. Then our equation should be equals to 3x plus 5. That's the equation. Okay. That's what we have there. So that's the equation of the tangent. So what you need to master, the point of intersection, that's your x1 and y1. That's the coordinate that you use. Then the gradient, how do you get the gradient of a tangent? You first get the gradient of the radius, then you take it from there. Okay, you use this this relationship, then you divide both sides by the gradient of what is given. Okay, now let's move on and try some questions again similar to that, where we are supposed to find the equation of the tangent. Okay, so we are told that determine the equation of the tangent which touches the circle. So we're going to start with the first one here, plus y2 is equals to 13 at 3 and negative 2. So what do we do now? We want to find the equation of the tangent. Okay, so what is the coordinate? We know that for the coordinate of the center, its coordinate, it should be 0, 0. So the coordinate is the origin. You know that if it is in this form, it means that the coordinate is what is the origin. So what do we have? M radius, M rad. How would we get M radius? M radius, we're gonna use it what? We're gonna use 2 points here and negative 3, 2. So we're gonna say change in y, which is gonna be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. In this case, it's gonna be negative 2 minus 0 over 3 minus 0. Then what do we get there? We're going to get negative 2 over 3. Okay, negative 2 over 3. That's our gradient. Now we write again m radius times m tangent should give us negative 1 because they are perpendicular. Then we put the what m radius, which is m2 over 3, okay, times m tangent. must give us -1. Then what do we do now? We divide both sides by -2/3. So we're going to get negative m tan should be equals to, we'll put it again here and say, okay, let's just gonna substitute there with the 2. Then we go up there, we substitute with what? With the -1, which is correct. So here, what are we going to get? We're going to get 3/2. 3/2. That's the equation, that's the gradient of the tangent. Now, once we have the gradient, we also need the coordinate. Which coordinate are we going to use? We're going to use 3 and -2, the point of intersection. Then we're going to use y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. Then what is our x1 and y1? This is what we have there. This is our x1 and y1. Then you're going to say y minus, what is y1 there is -2 is equals to m. What is m? 3/2 in bracket x minus what? -3. Then we have something like that. Then from there now, y is going to be equals to 3/2 x. 3/2 times 3 is going to give us -9/2, -9/2. Then here it's positive because it's going to be minus times minus. So when you shift it, that side is going to be negative. Then it's going to be -2. Okay. Then what do we get now? We're going to get y is going to be equals to 3/2 x. Then if we say -9/2 minus 2, what do we get? We get -13/2, -13/2. Okay, that's what we get there. That's our equation of the tangent. Okay, now let's move on to another question that we can also try. This one already you are given the equation plus 4 squared plus y minus 1. What do we get there? So y minus y1, we'll get y minus 1, sorry, is going to be equals to 20 at what? -2, -3. So remember here what you need first, you need the center. You need 2 points to find the gradient. So our center should be equal to what? Should be equals to -4 and 1. Okay, the opposite of that. Then now when you have the center, we want the gradient. Now m radius, how do we get it? y2 minus y1 is equals to x2 minus x1 as well down here. Then what do we have here? Let's start this one. We can start also with this one. We're gonna say 1 minus -3 over -4 -4 -2. What do we get there? 1 plus 4 is going to be 1 plus here because of negative and negative. It's going to be 4. Then here -4 plus, because negative and negative, plus 2, we're going to get -2. And in this case now, we're going to get answer of -2 because 2 goes into 4. So that's our gradient of the what? Gradient of the radius. Then we do the same thing, m radius times m tan should give us -1. Okay, once we have that, what are we going to do now? M right is -2. What about, what is it? It's going to be m10. It's going to give us -1. We divide both sides by -2. What we're going to get here, m tan should be equals to 1/2 because we're dividing both sides. Negative and negative will cancel. Now we have the gradient now. Which coordinate do we use? We use coordinate point of intersection, -2 and -3. That's what you need to master here. Then you're going to be what? Y minus y1 is equals to x minus x1. What is your y minus y1? We have y1 here is going to be -3, which is going to be equals to x minus -2. Okay. Then what do we get there? Oh, sorry. M. Then our m here is what? It's 1/2. So just going to rub here. Sorry about that. Okay, is equal to 1/2 in bracket, open the bracket like that. Then it's going to be y, here is going to be y plus 3 is equals to here half of, what do you have here? X plus 2 because of negative and negative. Then what do we get there? Y is going to be equals to half of x. Then this one will give us 1, then it's going to be plus 1, then -3 because here we're taking that side. Y is going to be equals to 1/2x minus 2. That's our final answer now. Okay, that's how we get the equation of the tangent. Now, when you are given equation like this, like the one that I just did now, the first one that we attempted, in this case here, you are given it not in the form of what you cannot extract your center there. You can't extract your center quickly. You need to first solve by completing the square to have your center, because what's important here is to get the center. Okay, once you have the center, you've got the coordinate of the center. Now you can have a gradient now between the 2 points. Okay, so that's all for this in this type of question. Okay, that's what you need to understand. When it's given in this form, when you can't extract the center quickly, you need to actually to do completing the square to write the equation of the circle in the form of x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equal to r squared. Okay, now let's move on to the next next slide. Now on the next slide here, what do we have? We've got a straight line y is equals to negative 2x plus c is a gradient, is a tangent to the circle this at a, which is xy. Determine the equation of the radius through a. Equation of the radius. Now listen here. We have a circle. We're going to sketch here. Then we have a tangent. Then, oh, no. Because that tangent is a tangent, straight line is a tangent. So it means that the reason why I'm removing this one, because this one is negative. So it's going to give us a line like this, the tangent. So this tangent is, let's say y is equals negative 2x plus c. The negative is showing us that is downhill. The positive, when it's positive, when it was positive here, it was supposed to be like this. Okay, that's why I had to change it. Then here from this point here to the center, we are asked to find the what is it, the equation of the what, equation of the of our radius. Okay, so what is given to this in this form here? Understand something, guys. Here straight line is in the form of what? Y is equals to mx plus c. Always when the y should have a coefficient of 1, so this one must be coefficient of 1. So coefficient of 1. So once you have got coefficient of 1, your m should be your gradient. So m should there be gradient. That's what it means here. So always that's what you, when you're given a straight line equation, pick the gradient. That's more important. So here we're not going to stress much here, because what we need here is that we want the gradient for the what? We want the gradient for the radius. So here we're gonna say m tangent is gonna be equal to negative 2 because it's given. That's what we are given here. Then what do we know the relationship? M rad times m tan must give us negative 1. So what you're given already here, so it's gonna be m rad times what? Negative 2 should give us negative 1. We divide both sides by negative 2. M rad should be equals to what? 1 over 2. Now, what else do we need? We need a coordinate. Coordinate A is just x and y, but we need a coordinate which we can get as a center. So we need the center here to find what is the center. So the center there, the center should be equals to what? The center in this case here, your center here in form of x is negative 1. Then in terms of y, there is no what you call, there is no center there. It's just the origin. Okay, so you put the origin. So that's what we have here. So we've got the coordinate here. And what? And the gradient. So you've got a coordinate and a gradient. So gradient, so what are we going to do? Y minus y1 is equals to m x minus x1. Okay. What is our y1? Our y1, we are taking it from the what? From the center. So it's going to be y minus 0 is equals to m. What is m? 1 over 2. What is our x? X minus x1. What is our x1? It's going to be negative 1. Negative 1 here. Then what do we get now? We're going to get y is going to be equals to half x. Then here what do we get here? 1 negative times negative, going to get plus 1. It's going to be plus 1 over 2. That's the equation of the radius. That's the equation of the radius. That's how we get it. Because what's more important to find the equation of a straight line? You need a gradient and a point. Gradient and a point. So here, what's more important? For straight line equation, you only need gradient and a point. Now, a point meaning to say just to be one point only. You don't need many points. You only need 1 point. But obviously, to find your gradient, you will use 2. But now, in this case, you will use only 1 of those points. Okay, that's what we have there. Let's move on to the next question. Determine the coordinates of A, the value of C. Now, something that you need to understand again. When you want to find, this is point of intersection. So A is here, is X, Y. So it's a point of what? Point of intersection. Since A, point of intersection, what do we know about point of intersection? We know that at this point of intersection, at A, what is it? The radius, equation of the radius is equal to what? Equation of the, what is it? Equation of, we want to find the coordinate of A. We know that at A, the radius and the tangent, they are equal. So radius and tangent, they are actually equal. At A, you know that your radius is equal to what? Your tangent. Equations. Their equations are equal. Their equations are equal at that point. Okay, that's what we're talking about there. Now, what are we going to do now? We are going to equate the two, the two equations and find the coordinates of what? Of A. And find the coordinates of A, or we can substitute, we can equate the point, equation of the radius with the second and see where do they meet. They will probably meet on 2 points. Okay, then we choose the one that is on this other side. Okay. Okay. So at A again, your radius equal to your circle equations. So these two, you equate them. So in this case, what you're going to do, since we have got the equation of the tangent and also have the equation of the circle, we're going to equate the two. Okay, so we are going to solve simultaneously. So we have got the equation of the circle, x plus 1 squared plus y squared is equals to 20. Then we have got y is going to be equal to half x plus 1 over 2. This is equation 1, this is equation 2. But from equation 2, we see that y is equal to this. So we're going to substitute y for here. So in equation 1, sorry, it's going to be x squared, x plus 1 squared plus half x plus half. We square that is equal to what? Is equal to 20. Okay, then we solve for x in this case here. So what are we going to do for this one here? Is going to be x squared plus x times 1 is going to be 1 plus 2 times 2. We're going to get 2x. So it's going to be plus 2x. Then 1 squared is going to give us 1 plus half x squared is going to give us 1 over 4 x squared. Then what are we going to have now? Half times half. We're going to get what? We're going to get 1 over 2. Half x times half is going to give us 1 over 4. 1 over 4 times 2, we're going to get 1 over 2. So it's going to be plus x over 2. Then what else do we have again here? We're going to say half squared. Half squared is going to give us 1 over 4. It's going to be plus 1 over 4 is equal to 20. Now, what do we do now? X plus 3 over 4. So let's have something like this. I'm going to take the 20 as well this side. X plus 3 over 4. X plus, so it's going to be 1 plus 1 over 4. We get 5 over 4. So it's going to be 5 over 4 x squared. Now 5 over x squared, what about in terms of x here? X plus 1 over 2 is going to be x 1, sorry, is 2 plus 1 over 2. We're going to get 5 over 2 plus 5 over 2 x. We're adding this and this. Okay, this one we added this one and this one. Then now what are we going to do now? 1 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4. Okay, we get that 5 over 4, but now that 5 over 4, we're going to subtract with the 20 because we need to bring 20 this side. We're going to say minus what? 20. What do we get? We get negative 75 over 4. Negative 75 over 4 is equal to what? 0. Okay, so for us to be easy for us here, easy to work with, we need to multiply throughout by 4. Multiply by 4 throughout. Okay, here also by 4. That's what you're saying here. So if we multiply by 4 throughout, you're gonna get here, you're gonna get 5x squared. Okay, 5x squared. Then you're gonna get what? What are you gonna get here? You're gonna get 2 times is gonna be 10 plus 10x. Then here is gonna be minus 75. Then it's gonna give us 0. Okay. Then we divide throughout by 5 here. If we divide by 5, we're gonna get x squared plus 2x, then minus 75 divided by 5, we get 15, minus 15 is going to give us 0. Okay, then you find now the what is it? You find the factors for x. Okay, that if we add them, they give us 2. If you multiply them, they give us negative 15. Okay, so it's going to be 5 and negative what? 5 and negative 3. So it's going to be 5 and negative 3, because you say 5 minus 3, you get 2. Then it's going to be x plus 5. It's going to be x minus 3. That's it. That's what we have here. So these are the values of what? The values of x, the values of x, and let's see what we get there. Okay, so here we have got x equals to negative 5. So x is equals to negative 5, or x is equals to 3. Okay, now we substitute that in the equation y is equals to. So in equation 1, we say now y. So we're gonna find the y here, the y value for each. So it's gonna be what? It's gonna be half. So it's gonna be negative 5 over 2. Negative 5 over 2 plus 1 over 2. What do we get? We get negative 2. Okay, negative 5 over 2 plus, we're going to get negative 2. So here it means that is negative what? Y is going to be negative 2. Then what else do we have there? In that case, if we put 3, we're going to say 3 over 2. Okay, plus 1 over 2. What do we get? We get 2. So here y is going to be equals to 2. So the coordinate that we are having now for A can be negative 5, negative 2, or A also can be 3 and 2. Okay, now I want to find out now what will be C, because if we are to say C now is the equation that we're having here, for equation y equals negative 2 plus c, what we do now to find the c, we just substitute the values. So we substitute for both x and y. So what I see now, when it's like this, when is this coordinate here, what do we get? What is our c? So we're gonna say from the equation that we have here, we're gonna say we substitute for this one is gonna be negative 2. It means that negative 2 is gonna be equal to what? Is going to be equal to what is our x is negative, it's going to be negative 2 in a bracket. What is it? Negative 5 plus c. So in this case here, we're going to get 10. So if we take 10, that side is going to be, what is it? It's going to be positive 10 here. We take it, that side is going to be negative 10 plus negative 2. We're going to get that negative 12. So here, c will be negative 12. Okay, in that scenario. But what about if we have got 3 and 2? What do we get there? We're going to put 2 is equal to negative 2 and 3 plus what? Plus c. Then what do we do now? We're going to say negative 2 times 3. We're going to get negative 6. Negative 6, we shift it, that side is going to be positive 6. 6 plus 2 is going to give us 8. So C is going to be equal to 8. Okay, so your values, you've got values here that you can have, different values that you can have here. Oh, sorry, I wasn't showing you that. No, I'm saying here, I was saying here you substitute in the equation that we have, which is y is equals negative 2x plus c. We substitute that the values for a. So we've got two values of a. So if you substitute this value here, what do we get? We get negative 12. So you substitute for x, for y, you put negative 2. For x, you put negative 5. Then on this one again, you do the same. Then let's move on and see. Now we are saying now find the equations of the tangent, which are parallel to the y-axis and parallel to the x-axis. Okay, so we are told that they must be parallel to y-axis and parallel to, or what is it, to your x-axis. Okay, so when I see how do we get that? Because when you are saying parallel to the x-axis, y-axis, it means that gradient here should be equal to what? Gradient of the tangent should be equal to 0. So m here, m tan is equal to 0. Then again, m rad is also equal to what? Is also equal to 0. That's what you need to know there. You need to know that tangents to that are parallel to the x-axis, parallel to the y-axis. Your gradients will be equal to 0. Okay. So for question 2, what I want to do is that I just want to sketch a graph here, because our center from the graph there is 2 and negative 3. Okay, so 2 and negative 3. When can we have 2 and negative 3? We're going to say, let's just draw a quick graph there. Then when you're saying 2 and negative 3, where is 2? So 2 and negative 3, the center is somewhere here. Then let's just draw a circle like this. Okay, so here is our center here. We can put our center here. It's fine. We are saying it's 2 and negative 3. That's our center. And now when we are saying it's parallel to the what? To the y-axis. To the y-axis, part of the y-axis should be, the line should be like this. So we've got one line here, which is parallel to the x-axis that touches, then also another tangent that touches what? Once also. That is also, because it's touching once there. So here we need to find out now, from there, we are also given the radius. So radius here, so r squared is equals to 16. What is our r? R is equals to 4. Okay, so it's going to be 4 units. Now, what do we do now in that case? We're going to say 4 units to the left. If we say 4 units to the left, we are going to get what here? If we say 4 units to the right, in terms of x, what are we going to get there? So that's what you're saying here. So you have got 4 units going there, and also 4 units going there. So it's 4 and 4. Then you're going to have also 4 units going up, then also 4 units going down to the circumference. Because remember, it's the distance from the center to the circumference, which is your radius. So if we say 2 minus 4, we get to minus 2. So you're going to say minus 2 here. So x is going to be equal to minus 2. That's the first equation. Then the next one here is going to be what? In terms of x again, the equation here. So this is x is equals to negative 2. What about the next equation? It's going to be what? 2 plus 4 is going to be equal to 6. X is equal to 6. So these are the two equations for what? This is parallel to what? Y-axis. What about the parallel to x-axis? Parallel to x-axis is going to be looking like this. Okay, when we have that, what are we going to get here? Here we're saying x equals to 6. Then again, we're saying negative 3 plus negative 3, negative 3 plus 4, or y is going to be equals to negative 3 minus 4. So when you are going down, you're going minus 4, it's going to be what? What are we going to get there? This is going to give us minus 7. This is going to give us y equals minus 7, y is equals to 1. So here you are saying x is going to be equals to 2 minus 4, or x is going to be equals to 2 plus 4. So plus 4 going there, minus because they're going to the left. Here, plus because they're going up, minus because they're going down. Okay, that's what we're saying. So these are the equations that they are looking for here. These are the equations that they are looking for. So this one is for parallel to the what? Y-axis. This one is parallel to the x-axis. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question here. That's what we have. So we have got A. Then we've got B. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Oh, I hope you were seeing that here to say in terms of y, we are saying it's the parallel to the x-axis. Then what do? We plus because we're going up, then we minus because we're going down. Then for x at the same, we are looking at these two, they are parallel to the y-axis. So what do? We're going to add, subtract 4 because we're going to the left, or we're going to add 4 because we're going to the right. Okay, I hope you guys understood. Now let's move on to the next question here. The straight line y is equals to x plus 2, cast the second x squared plus y squared is equal to 20 at A and B. So we're told that straight line here, this is the straight line that we're having. Determine the coordinates of A and B. Remember, point of intersection, A and B are points of what? Of intersection. Now, at a point of intersection, what do? You equate equations. Equate equations. That's what we're doing here. So what do we know now? We know that y is equals to x plus 2, one equation, then plus y squared is going to be equals to what? 20. That's the second what? Equation. You're solving simultaneously. Then y is equal to x plus 2. We put x plus 2 there. X squared plus x plus 2 squared is equals to what? 20. Then we expand that. It's going to be x squared plus x squared. Then here x times 2, we're going to get to x times 2. What do we get? We get 4x plus 4x, then 2 squared plus 4, minus, we take the 20 there, minus 20 is equals to 0. Then what do we get now? We're going to get 2x squared plus 4 plus 4x, 4 minus 4 is going to give us what? 16. Then we're going to get minus 15 is equals to 0. Then we divide by 2 throughout. We divide by 2 throughout, we're going to get what? X squared plus 2x minus 8 is going to be equal to 0. Then you find two factors that if we add them, they give us 2. If we multiply them, they give us negative 8. Then it's going to be x. So x. Then what are those factors that we add them? They give us 2. We subtract, we multiply them, they give us negative 8. This is going to be 4 and negative 2. So plus 4 minus 2 is equal to 0. Then x is going to be equal to what? X. So for x equal to, when x equals negative 4, for this one here, it means that what is our y? Our y is going to be equal to what? Y is going to be equals to negative 4 plus 2, which you're going to get negative what? Negative 2. So the coordinate for A down here, A should be equals negative 4, negative 2. Then what about B? We know that, what are we going to do here? We know that x is equals to 2, okay? Then what about y? Y is going to be equals to 2 plus 2 is going to give us 4. So what are the coordinates for B? B is going to be equals to 2 and 4. Okay, that's what we have here. Those are the coordinates of A and B. Then now, determine the length of the chord AB. Length of the chord AB. Length, we know what we do. Length, we know what we do. Length AB is going to be equals to root of what? XB minus XA squared plus YB minus YA squared. Okay, that's what you do. You just put what is it? These values here, you subtract them, then I'll find the answer. Then determine the coordinates of M, the midpoint of what? AB, midpoint AB. What do? We say XA, if you get XA plus XB over 2 in bracket, then YA plus YB over 2, then you find your answer. Okay, so you're just adding them, to say 4. What is it? 2 plus negative 4, you get negative 2, or divided by 2, you get 1. That's what you're saying here. Then, so it means that you have got 1 there, the other coordinates. Then now let's move on. Show that OM and AB, OM and AB is and AB are perpendicular. If O is the origin, so these two, they are told that these make 90 here. How do we show that they do make a 90 degrees there? How do we show that it's what called they're perpendicular? What do we need to do? We need to find the gradient. So M, we already find the coordinates of M because it's the midpoint. Now what do we need to do? We need to find the gradient of what? Gradient of AB. So M, so just to prove that M, which is the gradient, M or M times MAB should give you what? -1. So you must find the gradient for AB and what? OM and multiply them. If they give you -1, then it shows that it's a perpendicular. Okay. If they give you -1, it means that they are perpendicular. Now let's move on to the next question. E, determine the equations of the tangents to the circle AB. Now, equations of the tangents, how would we get equations of the tangents? We already done that. We need gradient of what? Gradient of AB. Gradient of AB. First. Once you get gradient of AB first, you now use the gradient of AB with what? With what called, you multiply with what? With that of a tangent to get -1. Then you know what we do is supposed to divide. Okay. Determine the coordinates of C, the point of intersection of the tangents. Now, once we have this is E, this was what? This was D. Okay, this was C, this was B, and we just got A here. Now, what about F? F, what you do here? Solve simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations for two tangents. Two tangents, which is your CA and what? CB. So just to solve what's the point of intersection. Point of intersection, how do you do it? You equate the equations. You equate the equations. Okay. I hope you guys you understood. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye-bye.